I'm Russ Rapp, and in this video we're going to discuss the movie Sixth Sense as it relates to spiritual awakening. So if you have not seen the movie Sixth Sense, it came out a long time ago, but go check it out and come back to this video. So that is your spoiler alert, that is your warning to go watch the movie before you watch this. But before we get into the movie itself, I just want to cut right to the chase and get to the main point of this video, because some of you all out there maybe have a short attention span and you're not willing to watch this video in full. Maybe you've already made the decision this isn't the video you want to watch and you've already moved on. But when it comes to spiritual awakening, it's a process. The word awakening itself is a gerund, meaning it's a verb that acts like a noun. So it's something that is happening in time. It's a process. And oftentimes we don't go all the way through the process to get to the end to really reap the rewards of the process itself. You know, whether it's reading a book to the end or watching a movie or, running a race. If you just run a couple miles of a half marathon, you never get that reward of finishing the race. And so, that's one of the things you have to consider as you watch these types of videos is, maybe there's some nugget of wisdom at the end that if you don't commit to watching the video in full, you'll miss that. So the main point of this video is, as you go through this process, as you become more awakened to yourself and the world around you, you have to remember to have compassion for yourself and have compassion for others. So that is the key to this talk. So now feel free, you've gotten the main point, feel free to jump and go do something else, or you can continue to watch. So in the movie Sixth Sense, since you have already seen it, or maybe you haven't and you don't care to go watch it, which is fine, I'll just give you a basic premise of the film. Essentially, there is a boy who's having some issues, some mental health concerns, and he has a therapist, counselor, who is Bruce Willis's character, that sits with him and kind of works with him. And the whole movie, you're under the assumption that they're having these conversations. At the end of the movie, it is revealed, the plot twist, that indeed the boy is seeing ghosts and Bruce Willis's character is a ghost, and that's why there's no interactions that have happened really directly with the people around him other than with this boy. So with his mom, it seems like maybe they're talking, but they're not. And so that is really, in a lot of ways, similar to the process of awakening, where you basically awaken to things that you're haven't been aware of. And a good example on a mundane level is if you've been watching my videos, if you've gone back and watched some of the older ones, or if you've been catching them as I've been making these videos, a lot of the non-duality videos, I have a lot of the same style t-shirts, and they all come from Thrivent Financial. And maybe you didn't even notice that I had similar t-shirts, but I have a whole drawer full of these t-shirts. What is the meaning behind that? I'll let you decide, but essentially maybe you never even noticed it. And now I'm bringing it up, I'm pointing the attention to it, and you're thinking, oh, I didn't even realize that was happening. And so that's something where the meaning for yourself on a personal level doesn't seem very significant. But when it comes to spiritual awakening, it can be a lot more, it can affect you in a lot deeper level, where it's kind of like this idea of bringing darkness to light. So as you awaken, you produce more light, and in that, it illuminates the world around you. So if you think about it in the sense where, awaken, so you're becoming awake. When you wake up in the morning, you have the sun shining through the blinds of your window and things are starting to light up. But prior to that awakening process, it's very dark, and you notice that when you're in a dark room, you can't really see the vibrancy of colors. you can kind of tell different tones and textures, but your eye can't really distinguish real clear illumination of what things look around you. Maybe there's some areas you can't quite see. It's a little bit in the shadows. But as you awaken, you start to see a lot more clearly. The light is illuminated around you. And I did want to read a couple verses from the Bible that relate to the idea of your light shining bright. So it's Matthew chapter 5, verses 14 through 16, which says, "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven." So the idea behind that is, you have this light, this internal sense of wholeness, of fulfillment, and that is directed out into the world. So it's producing your own light, shining it for all to see. And so the flip side of shining a brighter light is illuminating the shadows, illuminating the parts of your life, of your inner world that maybe you don't want to see. And so if you think about it in the sense of being in a room and you flip the light on, all of a sudden you can see the spiders crawling on the ceiling, or maybe there's cat vomit on your carpet that you weren't expecting when you woke up in the morning, or you see the mold there is no mold, but let's just say there's mold on the walls or something. So you awaken to all these parts of yourself that maybe aren't as don't make you feel very positive. And so that's where the point of this video really is to have compassion for yourself and for others, because it's oftentimes you can start to see all the ways that other people struggle, or the conflicts that you see around you, and it's really can be difficult to feel that and notice that pain and those maybe shortcomings. So because we all have shortcomings, we all struggle, we all sin. And if you think of the word sin, like in learning Spanish, the word, it's not the same word, but the same letters, S-I-N in Spanish is sin, which means without. So the way I look at it is, even though there's maybe, I don't know if those words really relate, the idea of sin or sin is being without God. So that's where being with God, walking with God is important in this process, because we can't do it all alone on our own. So that's one thing to keep in mind as well. So as we go through this process, and obviously if you've made it into this deep of the video, if you watched for this long so far, I commend you. But it is a process. So be patient and have some empathy in dealing with all the things that come your way, because as you shine light, that can also affect the world around you, and people can see your light. And so not only are you a beacon to others to show them, to guide them, like a lighthouse on the shore, you also can attract negativity in people that can see your light. But it is being with God and giving your sending, how do you say this? Giving your fear to God and say, God, I trust you, having faith. That's the key of continuing to let your light shine bright. And I've kind of touched on this in previous videos, where we're going through a process, I think collectively, because it's not only do we awaken on a personal level, we also awaken as a people, as a community. And that's what we're going through in many ways together, both on a personal and a collective level. And it's different. We're in a different stage where there is a natural development of changing into kind of a different worldview of growth, of human development. But then there's also this moment in history where we've never had the ability that we do now to see things as they are, to see, to shine the light bright enough to see all the things that maybe we couldn't see before. And it's the analogy I kind of use is almost like, you know, if you had cancer, if it was like one of those situations where now we have technology to be able to see, you know, maybe prior to the technology you had health effects, or you could maybe see a tumor or something, but now we have such so many ways to really observe and detect cancer, and we have treatments for it. So your chances of survival are a lot higher in that sense, whereas before we didn't have that capability. And I would say to you that, you know, we've had a cancer as a society, as a people, as a community for a long time. And, you know, there's always ways to remove the cancer or to reduce it in a natural sense, where you don't necessarily have to have the technology to remove it. You can live a healthier life. But essentially, we're at the point where we have the technology, we have the space in our mindset to be able to see things for what they are. And the key to this whole situation is to recognize that we can surgically remove the cancer that's on society. And since I'm using kind of an analogy or a metaphor, it's maybe confusing to what I'm trying to say, but just remember that, you know, 99.9x% of all the people that you know, your neighbors, your friends and family, we're all on the same side. And, you know, when it comes to cancerous cells, they're growing, they're maybe mimicking what the normal cells are, but then they're going and becoming something that is harmful to the organism. So if you think about it in this way, we're kind of like an organ of Mother Earth, if you want to call it that, or an organ of the world, and along with other animals and plant life and everything else. But we have our own human organism that lives on the earth, and we are all trying to go in a positive direction. We all want to, for the most part, want to uplift each other, but we just maybe disagree. So that's where we have to lean on God for guidance. So just remember that your neighbors, your friends and family, we're all on the same side, and we need to understand that, you know, it's almost like a viral, if there is like a virus that would cause cancer, it's almost like, you know, what would a virus do? A virus would infect your cells and turn the cells against each other. So if the entity or whatever that is causing the cancer is turning us against ourselves, trying to atomize atomize us as individuals so that we feel disconnected from others. We have all this technology, but we feel disconnected. We have things that are wedging us apart. Those forces that want to separate us instead of bringing us together, those are the forces that act like a virus, essentially, where we are kind of attacking ourselves. Whereas, you know, in the human body, we have all these cells, we have all these things that are working for our good. You know, it's kind of like where we are, it's like Romans 8:28, like for everything is for the good of God. So when we are focused on that, focused on working together in a positive way, then we're acting against what a virus or a cancer would do to ourselves. And it's kind of like Agent Smith in the first Matrix that talked about how he saw, or the machines saw the humans as viruses. So, so you can take that as, well, human beings are bad because they go in and they destroy things, and there are negative aspects of humanity, but the mindset of Agent Smith of calling humans viruses is exactly what a virus would do. So that is the dehumanizing mind virus that is out there to convince everyone that humans are bad and that we should all be against each other, even if they, on the other flip side, say it's all about coming together. I think actions speak louder than words. So let's see. So we made it this far. Have I covered everything? I hope so. But so that's essentially, sixth sense of spiritual awakening. There's those moments where you think to yourself, how did I not see that? It was right in front of my face. I didn't see all this happening, and now I'm aware of it. And it, it's like you feel bad about yourself because like you should have seen it. But, we were all asleep at one point. So that's, we're all going through this process together. And I really enjoy, if you have comments or questions, feel free to drop those in the little chat section or the comment section down below on the video, and it just gives me some things to ponder as I come up with videos in the future on awakening. And I've got the other one planned out coming up here. It'll be in a few weeks, but just stay tuned and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. like and subscribe. All right. Until next time, peace.